Hi everyone, I'm Jeremy with JM Photography, and today we're going to talk about Zoom, and more specifically how to install it and uninstall it from your computer. And we're also going to go through not only like a desktop setup, but any mobile setup as well, and show you how to do all those types of installations, and how to remove them if you didn't want them on your computer anymore. So without any further ado, let's get over to the computer and start downloading Zoom. So here we are, we're over, right now I'm just remotely connecting into my other MacBook Pro here, which is connected up to a television. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your internet is connected, and you'll do that from the menu up here, or you can just go into your settings menu. Just make sure your internet connection's on. If it's not, then it's going to make this a lot more complicated. The first thing we're going to do is open up Safari. So that's the browser we're going to use on a Mac. You can also use Chrome if you'd like. Either browser will work just fine. So we're going to come down to the menu bar, click on Safari, and let it open up. And once you're in here, you can either go straight to Google. In Safari, they have a little link right here, or you can just type in the top search bar here. It works as an address bar as well as a search bar. So we're just going to type in download Zoom app. And you might get some results in here that say add. It might have the word add in front of here. You just want to go down until you see zoom.us or zoom us / download. And so it's going to take you to the download center for Zoom. And in here, you're going to want to download the Zoom client for meetings. It's going to ask if you want to allow this download from this particular website. These are some of the security features that are built into Mac OS X, just to make sure that everything's secure and okay, and they're making sure that you're okay with downloading from this website. You're going to click on the allow button, and it's going to drop up into here and bounce down in your downloads here. So at this point, we don't need Safari open anymore. You can just go Command Q and quit that. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down to our downloads menu. You can launch it directly from here, or just open that up in the Finder. I prefer column view, and this little package here is going to install the actual application itself on your computer. So we're going to double click on that here. It's going to open up the Zoom installer. We're going to click on continue. It's going to ask us if you want to install it for all users on this computer or install only for me. We're just going to select for all users on this computer because we want all the different profiles to be able to access Zoom and do video conferencing through the app. It's going to select your Macintosh hard drive as the destination here. You're going to click on install. And then it's going to ask you for your username and password. And this is because you're going to be installing a piece of software and you need to be the administrator to actually install stuff on each profile. So I'm just going to type in my name and my password here, and we're going to hit install. And then it's going to launch the Zoom window here. And it's got a couple things going on in the background here. So this is the window for Zoom, and you can see that it's opened up the application right here. And you can see that the application window is right here. So it's got the downloads folder still open as well as the installer. And what we're going to do is we're just going to come over here, and we're going to click close because the installation was completed successfully. And when you click on close, what it's going to do is it's going to remove the Zoom package installer from your computer. So it's going to ask if you want to do that. You definitely want to do that, and it's going to clear it out from your hard drive here. I'm not sure exactly where this came from. That's pretty new. So you can actually delete that file if it's generated itself as well. And then you can close your downloads folder, put the Zoom window back in the middle, and then you can right click on your trash and empty it, just getting rid of all the installer files and everything that was put onto your computer. So now that you have your Zoom window open, you can actually go in and right ahead and join a meeting. I'm going to cover off joining a meeting and things like that in another video. This is more just to get yourself installed and everything like that. At this point, if you'd like to sign into the application, that would probably be the best way to go because it's going to get you started on setting up all your audio and your video settings for this particular computer. So we're going to go ahead and sign in. If you don't have a sign-in account yet or anything like that, you can click here and it'll prompt you to create an account, or you can just go to Safari again and go to zoom.us, and then you can click on the sign up. It's free. It'll just put you into a basic account, which is completely free. And they've actually been giving some extra features because of everything that's happening with COVID-19 right now. So it's a good thing just to have your own free account set up there. But as far as I know, you don't actually need that free account, but I'll address that in my next video here. So that's how you sign up for an account. I'm not going to go through the sign up steps and whatnot. I'm going to go up more just logging into the app and getting yourself ready to take your first call. So we're going to quit Safari here, move our Zoom window back over, click on sign in. And what we're going to do is type in the email that we signed up with. We're going to type in our password here. And you're going to want to keep yourself signed in. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go through this process every single time you open it up. And so I highly recommend keeping the checkbox here, keep me signed in, so that way you don't ever have to worry about it. And the nice thing about Zoom is it's 100% encrypted, and they've got all their security settings set up, and it's all good that way. So you don't really have to worry too much in that area, as long as you've got a good email and a strong password. There's a bunch of people recently that got hacked on here, but that's because they weren't password protecting all of their meetings and putting things in like that. So just protect yourself. Create a really strong password. Use an email that you're okay with using, and then you can keep yourself signed in. So we're gonna click on the sign in button here. And the first thing that's gonna pop up here is it's gonna ask if you'd like to access, or if you'd like to allow the application to access your microphone. And you definitely want to do that because this is how people are going to actually hear you when you're on your Zoom calls. So you're going to click on OK. The next thing you're going to want to do is start a new meeting. Now, you just do this to set up your audio and video settings prior to getting into your first meeting or clicking on like a meeting link or something like that. So what you're going to do is you're just going to click on this orange button here, New Meeting. And the first thing it's going to ask you is whether or not you want to allow access to your camera. And you definitely want to do that. You can always shut that off, and I'll show you how to do that. But you do want to allow access to this application by clicking on OK. And what it's going to do is it's going to display your camera right there, your camera setting. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is set up your computer's audio. So you can go join with computer audio. And I'd recommend automatically joining automatically join audio by computer when joining a meeting. So that way you don't have to remember to like turn it on and things like that. But what you can do is always test the speaker and the microphone. And so we're gonna go join with computer audio, and it's gonna put everything in there. And what you're going to want to do is come in here and test these things and make sure that they're working. So for me, the way I have this set up is this computer is connected into a big screen TV. So I'm going to want to use the microphone, the internal microphone on the MacBook Pro, and that'll be the case for most people unless you have an external microphone, and then you would see that in here. And then you want to select the speaker that you're going to be outputting to. And so right now it's set to the internal speakers of the actual laptop, which is going to be the case for most people. But in my case, I actually want it to go through the HDMI cable into the actual TV itself and output through the television. So I'm going to select on that right there. Now, if I want to mute my audio, I can just go like this. It puts a red strike through it, and that'll mute the particular microphone that's been selected. And if you'd like to test these things, you can come over here and go test speaker and microphone. When you come in here, it'll ask you, can you hear a ringtone? And if you can, you click on yes, and then it'll ask you to speak into the microphone, and when you speak, it'll record your voice, and then very quickly after that, it'll play it back for you. So we're gonna click on yes, we heard that, and now everything is looking good, and we can go finished. So we're just gonna put that on mute for right now. And then if you wanna stop the video, you can pause it like that. And if you've uploaded a picture, it'll load a picture of you on here. If you haven't, it'll just be a blank screen, and you can start up the video again and it'll start running. Now, if you have, really, you should probably only have one camera connected up, but if you have a multiple camera setup, like maybe a different external webcam or a different camera, you would see those options in here as well. And like I said, you can stop that at any time. So once you have audio and video working on your computer, at this point here, we can go over here and go end meeting. And it's going to ask you if you want to end meeting for all. And that's because right now you're starting a meeting for absolutely everyone. and that say has your link or that meeting link or whatever. And when you end that, it's just enabling you to set up. So really what we just accomplished is we set up our microphone and got it working, and then we set up our camera and got it working. And the whole reason why we want to make sure we do that is so the next time when we're actually clicking into maybe someone's personal link and logging in, it's ready to go for us. So that's how you get in here. At this point there, you can just quickly close down the menu and then log back and then open it back up again when you need it. The nice thing about that is in most links, when you click on them, it'll just launch this application. So there's really not a lot for you to do. But let's say you didn't want this application on your computer anymore. You would just come over to the Zoom Us menu right here, come down and go uninstall Zoom, and then just follow through the prompts. It's not something I'm going to do right now because I want to keep this on my computer and use it. Yeah, that's how you get this installed on your computer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over to an iPhone or an iPad, I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to use, and show you how to install this onto your iOS device. All right, so what I've got right here is my iPhone, and we're gonna pop it up on the screen right over there. And so on the main screen here, we've got our App Store, and so you can just click on that and it'll open up here a bunch of different things. All you need to do is click on the search button, go to search here and type in Zoom, and it should be like your first option here. And the Zoom Cloud meetings here is what you want to go into. So we're just going to click on the Get button right here. If you had a little cloud there, it means that you've already purchased that item, and you just need to download it back to your phone. So that's super simple. It's going to ask me for my password or my Touch ID to pay for it. It's a free app, so you don't have to worry about it, because the subscription would be through having something more than just their basic service. But it's going to sit here and download just like you can see. And then once you're done, you can just drop out of that. It dropped it right onto my front page right here. You can organize it anywhere you'd like to on your phone, but let's just log into it for now. So what we're going to do is click on the Zoom button right here. It's going to log in here. It says join a meeting, and so if you were to join a meeting, you wanted to type in like a meeting code or something like that. We're not going to go over that in this video. I'm going to make another video for how to join a meeting from your iPhone, but this is just the install portion. If you wanted to sign up, you can do that directly from the phone here in the lower left hand corner, or in our case, we've already got an account, so we're just going to sign in, but the sign up would just walk you through the sign up steps in there. So I'm actually just going to click on that just so you can see it. It asks for your email address, first name, last name, and that you agree to terms of service, which are just the standard terms of service. You can read them there if you click on the hyperlink. And then what we're going to do is in our case, we're just going to cancel because we've already got an account. So we're going to click that sign in button there. You can sign in with some other things. I didn't really address this in the previous video, but you don't really want to sign in with SOS, Google, or Facebook. I find those way less secure. I much prefer having my all my sign-ins attached to like an email, so that way if there was ever something that changed with Google or their services or anything like that, you're not having to deal with the fact that they're not offering that service or that type of login or something like that. So we're going to click on email address here, type in my email address. So in your case, you would type that in, and now we're going to type in our password here. And now that we have our password in, we're going to click the sign in button, and it's going to sign us in. So it's going to ask you right out of the gate here if it wants you to send notifications. Personally, I don't like having all my settings set up to send notifications. Later on, if I really want that, I can allow that. So I'm going to click on the don't allow here. It's going to ask if you want to access your calendar. In this case, I'm going to say, okay, I don't really mind if it accesses my calendar. Would you like to use Zoom with Siri? I don't use Siri too much, so I'm going to say don't allow on that question there. and you can save the password if you'd like. So I'm going to do that so that way I don't have to log in with my password again. You're going to go save, and then did you want to sign in with Touch ID? I highly recommend that because it makes it so much easier to log in. We're going to go like that there. And now you're all ready to go. So if I wanted to create a new meeting from my login, I would just click on the new meeting button, and then I could start a meeting directly from my phone. And if I wanted to join a meeting, I could do so as well. So we'll show you how to do all of that stuff in another video, but that's how you would sign into Zoom. If you wanted to remove the app, removing apps on iPhones and iOS is super simple. This is also the same for iPad OS and things like that. But all you have to do is hold your finger on the phone here, and it'll pop up a little menu here just like you see, and you can start a video call and join a meeting and stuff like that directly from here, or you could just delete the app right from your phone just by clicking on delete the app. It's going to ask you if you're okay with deleting all the information on the app, and in this case we are, because we don't want this app on our phone anymore. We're going to click on delete and it disappears. So if you did that by accident or you couldn't find the app, you can always scroll down and type in Zoom. And as you can see, it's not in here, but it's going to give you App Store suggestions and things like that. You can click on it. It'll take you into the App Store, and then you can just click on the Get button again. And it's going to ask for my ID one more time, because I do want this on my phone. I just wanted to show you the process of actually removing it from the phone. And you can see that it's just installing. And it's right back where it was. I would have to then go through the sign-in process again, as you can see right here. We're not going to do that right now because you guys don't need to sit through that. But that's essentially how to install it on any iOS or on a Macintosh laptop. If you have a PC or an Android device, it should be a very similar process. You just go to the Android Play Store. You should be able to download it there and walk through similar screens. Same with the PC experience. It should be very similar, setting up cameras and everything like that. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching this video. I really appreciate you checking out our channel, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. Everyone stay safe and healthy. Till next time, cheers. Bye.